Although, yes, as always, I will double check first. I have until 11 a.m., so about an hour and 20 minutes this time. And I'm going to be taking my time. It is pretty early. Um, I am live. Let's make sure. Yes, as always, audio is working. And yeah, just gonna be taking it pretty slow. I got my smoothie with me. So, hey everyone, welcome to Smoothie with Chloe in the morning. So as you can see on the left hand side of my screen, I have the Cosmos paper, the V2 white paper that just got released. And on the right, I have some notes I'm taking on my HackMD, just so I don't have to read it like 6 times. I can just read it once, have an overview, and then come back to my notes next time to see, okay, what was important, what did I pull out, what extra papers do I want to read, and then honestly, a lot's happened over the past couple of days. Um, I applied to be an Ethereum protocol fellow. Basically, it's to basically provide support for people that want to be Ethereum core developers one day. That's been a goal of mine for years. But recently my goals are a bit like higher level than that, just to like be able to support useful cryptographic implementations in like the public blockchain space. Um, so a friend of mine asked me to help them with a cryptographic implementation in Rust. They sent me some number theory articles to go through. So starting next week, I'm probably going to be streaming the number theory article and like going through that. It's actually very fun. I might even start it this afternoon. Um, and then I'm also going to be doing some other stuff on like Astro DAO and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna get started for today. I got my oatmeal here too, so please bear with me if I'm like eating and stuff. Again, these streams are mainly for me, so I can keep a record of what I've done and keep myself accountable. The notes are kind of for potentially other people if they want to read them, and then eventually, yeah. So the Cosmos economic engine. With the secure domain for adding new functionality, beginning with cross-chain liquidity, the Cosmos Hub now has the necessary components to assume its role as platform for the creation of valuable utilities. A hub for the interchain, in order to realize its purpose to drive the expansion of a more secure and efficient IBC economy and building long-term alignment with a growing Cosmos network, the Cosmos Hub will require two mutually reinforcing systems. And that's what we talked about yesterday a bit, and that's kind of where my notes ended with these two important mutually reinforcing systems in the Cosmos Hub, the interchain scheduler and the interchain allocator. Allocator is like, the economic coordination and interchain project alignment. It seems like this is just like distribution of funds. And the interchain scheduler, which pretty much just tries to have MEV go back to the hub, which I'm not sure how you force. But anyways, and it's like a block space market space. I mean, if you force everyone to use one market, then yes, all the MEV from that market can go to one place. But I would assume people will create off-chain markets for block space. And so I'm not really sure how you can force all the block space fees to go back to this hub, which would then support the allocator. So that's probably where I would need to research more. But again, they're going to dig into it. So I'm going to take a bite of my oatmeal first. Thank you, Bianca. And we'll get into it. So while interchain security provides a secure platform for building a coalition of Cosmos-aligned application, which was like, I guess, Cosmos V1, the interchain scheduler built on top of this platform to offer defensible utility that scales with the growth of the wider IBC economy. So I guess as there's a larger economy, there is more block space to provide in the marketplace. This is achieved with the marketplace for tokenized cross-chain block space. Yep. MEV relay networks enable off-chain markets for private transaction submission. So yeah, I mean, this is providing this market. But again, I don't know how you ensure. I guess no matter what, but someone can like pay a fee in fiat, for example, and pay for it to be included. But I guess if it's included, someone's paying for it to be added, and so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I guess they just make it so you have to pay them somewhere. And so even if fiat is used in one area, it just seems like if a lot of Atom, you can do whatever you want, which I guess is the case with any chain. Such systems are attractive because they allow more expressive and efficient execution of user intent with capabilities like front-running protection, multi-transaction bundling, failed transaction prevention, and transaction priority. Sequence priority is going to be an interesting one where, like, again, if you pay for the MEV, you paying for sequence priority. But again, putting it all on chain at the beginning does seem to provide some benefits in terms of transparency, where everyone knows what's happening. It's all on chain in the open. As MEV opportunities grow, such relay systems are becoming increasingly active with the interchain. Oh my gosh. And by offering MEV relay service on multiple chains, relays are able to further articulate cross-chain execution guarantees. The assurances of an MEV relay network are only as strong as the number of validators running modified software. Okay, sorry. Another great paper. I'm going to have to keep this paper, to be honest, because this sounds like a lot of fun to read. And then this is kind of why I like going through research papers, is because, you know, as you go through one research paper, you find hundreds of other papers, to be honest, to go through. Whoops. 1, 2, that's not correct. I can't even see my keyboard from that far. 1, 2, 3. The interchain scheduler. I don't need to keep all of that. Let's just talk about this specifically. Oh, and I'm going through a pretty great number theory lecture on YouTube as well. But the article is actually much better than the YouTube. I like YouTube videos because they explain concepts in like verbally and like auditorily for me, which is helpful. Also, I enjoy when there's questions in a lecture, and so I can like listen to what questions people are asking, like where are they finding fault or having issue, and then like seeing how the professor decides to try and provide insight or correct. So I learn a lot from that as well. So a mix of like really detailed educational articles and then like lectures or videos to try and go deeper and explain the concept in a different way is usually how I learn best. Which works well for papers where, again, I read them out loud, so it's like an auditory lecture, and then there's all these kind of lectures to go into specifics and teaching in a different way about why something happens. So, papers seem to work well for me because, again, lots of high-level explanations for everything, and then low-level details in other like papers. Okay, so the assurances, okay, while attractive for individual users, this model presents systemic centralizing concerns if left unchecked. Yes, that's kind of my issue so far, I guess. Functionality rests on trusted relationships among validators, MEV relays, and builders, even extending to intermediation of the node software run by validators. Therefore, these networks are possible vectors for off-chain cartelization with little counterforce to ensure accountability as they scale. At worst, the monopolizing tendency of off-chain block-based markets can undermine efficient transaction fee pricing and ultimate chain security. Okay, that's what... Okay, that sounds good. I hope they try and like address this concern in these papers. Beyond centralization concerns, the revenue generated from MEV networks are typically shared among validators or clients through actual order flow, while protocols and their token holders are left out of the value chain. To ensure fairness and efficiency for chains and users alike, the in-chain ecosystem required a competitive market with differentiated MEV solutions. Yes. The in-chain scheduler addresses these concerns by bringing MEV markets on chain. See, I like this part, like where, but do you have to? So they're trying to say that all this off-chain stuff, correlation, is what's happening in Ethereum right now, which causes issues. I agree with that. They're saying that they can, you know, by bringing all of this MEV stuff on chain with the scheduler, I guess the only way to get your blocks included is to take part in the scheduler. So you have to take part in the scheduler. And minimizing trust, improving quality of service, and enabling direct block space regulation by chains themselves. Moreover, an on-chain market can provide a more fair and transparent system for returning revenues to their originating protocols and token holders. Again, agreed. The more you have on chain. I mean, public or private. At least it's there and available. You can, if it's on a private chain, you can still show proofs that you have the information. On a public chain, you can just show the information. I guess both are possible for proofs. But anyways, using the capabilities enabled by Temer's latest IBCI++ upgrade, transaction inclusion and ordering can be segregated. Okay, transaction, inclusion, and ordering can be segregated. So this is what people were talking about in Ethereum as well, trying to separate transaction block production from transaction ordering. And I think in Ethereum, in Near, the block producers are obviously in charge of block production and transaction ordering 100% as they create the block. That's a very interesting piece, though. I don't think Near has dug much into. Someone's calling me, and I think it might be a real person. So, hello? No, it wasn't a real person. I thought it might be a real person, but it wasn't. Anyways, so it seems like an upgrade here, which allows you to segregate the block production and the order transaction. So basically, the transaction, so block production like normal can be held just for the validators, but you can tokenize the transaction ordering. So on Near, I mean, this hasn't been dealt with. I think it'd be really cool, for example, if maybe like again, chunk producers had some say in transaction ordering to make it more democratic. And then people are going to run MEV solutions anyways. Again, to me, in the Near ecosystem, there's not enough research happening in any of this MEV type situation. Whereas on Ethereum, obviously, there's lots of independent parties that are working on it. And then in Cosmos, it seems like they're basically building a chain for MEV, which, I mean, obviously MEV has shown to be valuable in the blockchain, especially as you connect different blockchains together. And so, with Near, you have Aurora, you have different shards. It'd be interesting to see how they just try and decentralize or democratize, decentralized MEV rewards. But anyways, these papers, Tendermint's new application, blockchain, so Tendermint's new ABI. Interesting. I mean, I don't think I want to. I mean, maybe I do want to read it actually, because it seems like this is talking about segregating block production and transaction ordering, which is interesting to me. Let's fix that. Fix that. I'm gonna make sure all these links work actually. That one works. This one works. Yeah, the rest of them should all work. Found that one. Perfect. Sorry, I just want to make sure I have all the papers working. Although, I mean, the V1 paper, not as important apparently. I mean, important, but it's actually on-chain running, so. MEV auction treasure underwrites. Okay, this sounds amazing. Definitely going to read this paper. See, it's on ETH Research. Okay. The ETH Research Forum, again, this is why when I say I want to be a researcher in the Web3 blockchain space, it always just occurred, okay, let's just do Ethereum research because that's where everyone is researching. There's no other places. The Ethereum research, let's just click here. I'm just gonna pin it actually. There's just so much amazing stuff here. This is the wrong one. Maybe I should use this new one though and not use my old one. Yeah, see, oh no. Oh wait. Yeah, there's no way that password should work. Let's see if this works. Ha ha ha. Unexpected problem. Yeah, just refresh. So now I'm logged in. Yeah. I haven't used this thing in a long time. Nice share. I used to share stuff off this quite often. Um, Lots of amazing. Like, I'm excited to read into this. But you can just write your ideas. Like, thanks for Vitalik. You talk about miners. You talk about, the issue you see, implementation of an auction. There's no math here, right? You write about your concerns, your path forward. People like it, or I'm going to like it because, thanks for posting it. To me, honestly, I'm very liberal with my likes. To me, it just means I've seen this. I think it's cool, and I want to kind of look at it for later. And then people start adding comments and math. Like, this is where the math starts coming in, and people start adding more math and like comments, and then research happens right here. This is the research paper update. Okay, more information on the topic. MEV auctions will kill Ethereum. Okay, they wrote another topic. Okay, interesting post. Okay, like there's you can just keep reading about. People are saying MEV auctions are good things. Some people are saying it's gonna kill Ethereum, and like the more you read, like this Cosmos Hub paper is obviously more of a marketing type of paper, saying, hey, because this is a solution, we're gonna say we're gonna do it, and it's gonna work. And literally, of course, if you actually read the papers or the article, not even a paper, if you read the article, you'll see someone else is saying it's going to kill Ethereum. And someone else is saying it's going to be great. And you got to kind of, keep digging in to figure out what the actual truth is. Okay, I have a lot to get done today, but we're just going to keep going through this paper for now. Okay, the scheduler system works as follows. When the consumer chain enables the scheduler module, it can enter into a cross-chain contract and provide a portion of their block space, one block every minute. Chains may, oh my gosh, wait. Okay, let me just keep going. Chains may sell as much block space in the market space as they wish above some minimal threshold. So you have to sell at least a little bit. When you connect, let's say you have to sell at least 1% of your block space, you have to provide open and available. So it's like Near blockchain, for example, connects and says, hey, we're saying that there's at least, 1 block per minute. So Near has 1 second blocks. That would mean that, 1 out of every 60 blocks on average would be available for the scheduler. I assume, and then I would assume you could sell more block space than that, but that would be like the minimum for like messages and posting information and stuff like that. Potentially, I gotta keep, So once the agreement's in place, the scheduler issues non-fungible token reservations between each future block region on the consumer chain. So I guess once you sell like your Near block space to Cosmos, the hub, there will be Cosmos tokens or some sort of Cosmos fungible tokens or some sort of gas tokens issued to the Near chain, representing future block space on Near. So I guess that stays on the Cosmos hub, but they get minted. Reservation tokens from all participating chains are then periodically auctioned in batches. So then I guess if someone's like, hey, I want some of that Near hub token to be able to use some of that Near space on the hub, you pay for it as you see fit. Optionally, tokenized reservations may be traded on a secondary market. Okay, so I guess if you connected your own chain's block space, you could have ownership of these secondary tokens and sell them on Ref Finance, something like that, on your own exchange. This is possible until the reservation is redeemed to an appropriate validator on the partner chain. So basically, you'd redeem the Near the NE atom, you'd redeem it with a validator on Near. That's interesting. But I guess you wouldn't really redeem it with a validator. The validator would have some code attached to it that lets you kind of like unwrap this gas token for more Near, I guess. So basically, it's probably a different version of like ST Near or wrapped Near or something that the validators can unwrap for you that, is used for block space, I would assume. Interesting. Upon successful block execution, a split of proceeds from the scheduled auction are sent back to the partner chain. So the scheduler takes care of the auction for you, gives out this token. The token can be redeemed from a validator on near or the partner chain. And then after the auction from the scheduler, it sends proceeds back to the partner chain as well. And I guess also the allocator and everywhere else. So by purchasing synchronous regions of blocks based on different chains, users can lock in arbitrage opportunities or schedule cross-chain settlement transactions with strong execution guarantees. So like if you are buying a block on near that's happening like in 20 blocks, and you buy a block on or block space on near, and then block space on like Binance chain, and the block after, or a block very close by. That seems confusing. But anyways, are all these blocks having the same block times though? Because it seems like they're writing out these blocks as if they're all the same block times. But I assume like, so block 0 and block 0 might start at the same time. But for chain A, which I'm assuming is the hub, again, assuming. So it's a depiction of a scheduled sequence of transactions occurring over multiple chains of blocks. The scheduler leverages ABCI to enable partner chains to tokenize reservations for future block space. Those reservations are auctioned in a common FEV marketplace, enabling stronger autonomicity and settlement auction. So my only thing is chain A and chain B. So say if chain A is near and say chain B is Binance chain, I would assume they have different block times. And so I find it very difficult. So in block 1, packet gets, send packet A, goes to in block 1, and then like by the time the execution of A, so by the time the execution of A happens here, block 2 could be completed already. Like if this has 6-second blocks like a Cosmos Hub and Ethereum, and then near has 1-second blocks, I would assume this would actually be like block 8 or block 10 or whatever. And then I don't know how you'd be able to I don't know how you'd be able to capitalize on like an MEV opportunity that happened from like blocks 1 to 6. Or I'm assuming you'd want to capitalize on I don't know. It just seems like, anyways, the MEV would be like in some hub, and you'd be, anyways. It's getting a bit complicated without any math. I need like this seems cute, where like you send packet A, execute message A, executes B because of message A, which you miss some blocks here, so things might change, and then so you send packet B as information from chain B to A to execute it, and then you're gonna try and send back in block 2 but I'm just not, so maybe they're just trying to be a little more like simple with these diagrams. But like I would do better with like an actual example of like a chain and like what the block times were, and then like if this block time had 1-second block times, had 5-second block times, would it actually be like this from some IBC protocol, keeping the message able to send within a block? Or would you have to actually wait for executions, which might take 2 or 3 or 4 blocks? Like on near, even if you sent a transaction in block 1, you want to execute into block 2, you want to get a receipt to a block 3, and you have to act on the receipt. So it might take to a block 3 to actually act on the receipt. And if you do cross-chain stuff, it just seems more complicated. But so I'm not sure about how you get like stronger definitely stronger autonomous and settlement guarantees than if you go completely off-chain. Because everything's public. But anyways, in moving the interchain MEV market on-chain. Sorry, trying to keep eating my oatmeal. The scheduler can offer a trust minimize assurance that users hold an exclusive right to order transactions for future block regions. Okay, that part makes sense. So on near, I guess the whole idea is, even taking out the whole IBC and Cosmos stuff, if a block producer was telling you, hey, I could include your chain in this block, you wouldn't actually know, that have to like cryptographically prove to you that they have the rights to construct the block in that future chunk or whatever, or construct the chunk in that future block, whatever. Whereas this, it's all on chain, and so I think this is the part that's pretty interesting. As like a user, then you know that this this entity that can build the block for you actually has the right to do it, and so that if you pay for that right, then you also have that right. Moreover, common market for multi-chain block space will command higher rates by securing cross-chain atomicity. Yeah, I mean, the whole point is that currently right now to do stuff like this, you're going to like have to use a bridge or anything else. And this is pretty much taking these bridges, putting them on chain and saying that, hey, you can just, we know a validator has a certain spot. It's on chain. You can just pay for part of that block space, and then just, you know, at least that in that block, you can get your transaction included if you pay enough, which is kind of cool. This DAO market structure is intended to complement the off-chain MEV economy, providing different trade-offs and increasing competition to the benefit of chain security. So again, to be quite simple again, I think that it's being clear that there's already off-chain MEV happening. But if you can have a vibrant on-chain MEV marketplace, then you're going to benefit chain security, because instead of being off-chain, more fees are going to come to the hub. So here, the scheduler creates an in-protocol market for interchain block space, allowing chains to specify allowable MEV. Unlike other solutions that only split revenues with validators, the scheduler also splits between the chains. So trying to ensure that not only validators are taking part in MEV, what do they call it now? It's not minor extractable value, but like maximum extractable value. So basically, if there's value to be extracted, it's being shared with the entire ecosystem, the chains, the validators, not just the validators. But I mean, in other ecosystems, yeah, whatever. I mean, it would be similar, but IBC is just different. A portion of block space may also be designated for use by other chains within the scheduler network, analogous to a free trade agreement where goods and services in neighboring economies are given preference. Interesting. Again, sounds very heavily geared. I mean, the more I read this, the more it seems interesting, but the more I'm like, who holds all the atom and what's happening? Like, who is going to decide what happens in these ecosystems? The scheduler system will provide a substrate for service providers to create a variety of MEV native applications, settlement layers, and cross-chain time preferences. IBC relay aggregators and routing utilities, on-demand liquidity networks, or trust minimized best execution services. So basically they're saying the scheduler takes care of everything I was just talking about, potentially being worried about, like, knowing what part of the near block you're going to get into, the price of that. So all these kind of difficult problems, they're saying, hey, you can still use an off-chain system to do this, where you might have to trust the protocol doing it, but if you use the scheduler should take care of all of this for you. Again, it seems like a huge point of failure, but again, if we're trusting cryptography and we're saying that the hub is built using secure cryptography, then maybe it's okay to trust, or to trust this trust minimized system, or verify at least. The scheduler will be available first to in-chain security customer chains for a secure initial deployment, of course. The intention is to expand to become the primary venue for future interchain block space. The cross-chain MEV revenues generated from the interchain scheduler will flow back to the Cosmos Hub Treasury to drive growth by capitalizing public works and the interchain allocator. So, again, if you're already a chain doing interchain security with IBC, you're going to be allowed to use this interchain scheduler, which will mean you'll have first rights as to, all this MEV and going back to your chains and everything like that. So then when the allocator starts being, used to allocate funds to different projects, obviously it's going to be, it's kind of what I was talking about here. The scheduler system will provide a substrate for service providers to create a variety of MEV native applications. So seems like the scheduler is going to do this, but obviously there's going to be a catering towards the chains that are already connected. In my opinion, that's the way money tends to work. And so very interested to see about how the allocator we'll try and do things long term. Let's get to the next point. Whoops. Interchain allocator. Why am I eating a nut? There was a nut left here from last night. Oh gosh, sorry, I'm just do. Sorry, I'm gonna get back to this in a second. Just check my messages. Okay, back to the reading. Okay. To date, Atom has funded the development of foundational software components powering a thriving ecosystem. Atom's liquidity, availability on exchanges, and its engaged user base has made it the primary entry point for those looking to experiment with new Cosmos applications. Okay. What? Obviously, where else are you supposed to go to experiment with Cosmos application besides? Oh, they're saying Atom is the place to go when trying to use Cosmos. However, until liquid staking is introduced, interchain growth is hindered by the conflict between the native staking system and other opportunities for utilizing Atom. Liquid staked assets eliminate the opportunity cost of staking, prompting growth. However, to further support ecosystem growth and economic alignment, the Cosmos Hub could also offer functionality for external protocols and communities to develop strategies for economic coordination between staked atoms and new projects in interchain, aligning the utility of Atom with ecosystem growth. The function of the interchain allocator is to provide new Cosmos projects a more efficient path to user acquisition, liquidity, and long-term ecosystem alignment. So there's a Cosmos Hub, there's the Chain X, the Chain X, like Near, I guess, would have a treasury of Atom, and then the Cosmos Hub would have a treasury of Near. The in-chain allocator is a system for capital allocation and incentive alignment. The more that Coin X, the Cosmos Hub, holds, and the more Atom the Cosmos hold, the more incentive aligned the two chains become. That part seems simple enough. Sorry, again, my phone. So we're just talking about the Pixel Dap stuff with Lewis. Okay. Whoops. I'm probably gonna stop streaming soon. Go to the bathroom. Let's see. It's a lot of words. Okay, so I'll get down to governance, and I think governance might be the last piece anyway. Yeah. So maybe I'll try and get through all of it and just like breeze through it. Honestly, a lot of this seems like just very high level in general. So the allocator provides two basic tools that enable incentive-aligned communities to develop strategies for economic coordination on behalf of the Cosmos Hub. The Covenant, a system for establishing multilateral agreements with designated chains and IBC-enabled entities, and a rebalancer, a system for automatically managing asset portfolios with public liquidity. That's interesting. I'm just gonna copy this part down to be like, okay, this is what the, oh gosh. Oh no, that's what they wanted. Um, this seems like the basics of what they're trying to say for the allocator. The Cosmos Hub community will actively seek to fund incentive-aligned communities that, okay, yeah. This seems like a code of conduct almost, or like a, anyways, doesn't matter. Accelerate growth, expand economy, do all this cool stuff. The Cosmos Hub was to fund incentive-aligned DAOs to carry out the allocator's mandate. A successful execution will require human judgment. For example, to create an incentive-aligned DAO from which the Cosmos Hub may source judgment. Sounds a lot like the NDC, honestly, a lot of this stuff. Atom stakers could bond their liquid stake to a new DAO instance for a specific duration. More atom bonding with a longer lockup results in greater power of DAO or voting power. Atom amount. Okay, I grant this DAO a recurring funding rate if in performance and bonus. The DAO basically create a DAO to help do this stuff because you need a company pretty much to run this, or you can just without the protocol coordination is cumbersome, requiring multiple. Exactly. So yes, we're having a DAO, but with a covenant, we should automate a lot of this. So, establish interchain account, send tokens, enter a liquidity pool. The Covenant system streamlines this process by creating a vehicle that can implement inter-protocol transactions with as little as a single action by each protocol. To use it, one protocol sets parameters and deposits funds into a covenant. If the other protocol has any issue with the original parameters, it may establish a new covenant with updated parameters. The process of fusing the covenant is fully funded, to which point the deal terms are active. Basically, on-chain contract funding, and yeah, seems pretty simple for now. But I think it's pretty cool to keep it simple on the protocol level, and I'm sure people will start creating some very complicated covenants over time. I mean, this again is quite straightforward in my opinion. You know, you stake your atom, you earn some tokens from a different chain. If you hoped, yeah, it doesn't matter. The rebalancer system is a tool for execution of third-party capital allocation strategies for liquid assets. It takes the current portfolio, target portfolio, and exchanges policy as inputs. Seems like lots of areas for human risk in this whole allocation section, but it is what it is. And also, not just human risk, but like human error, human maliciousness, or just greed. The rebalancer policy computes assets that can be sold or acquired to incrementally move towards the target portfolio. The assets are sold or acquired according to the user's desired policy, which could include gradual Dutch auction and direct trade on a whitelisted exchange. Yeah. The whole like whitelisted exchange, blah blah. It helps get like larger companies and regulated entities into the system. Users of the rebalancer can set parameters to strike the desired balance between urgency and slippage minimization on a portfolio or per asset basis. Interchain allocation. Together, these tools can be used to create collateralized agreements with other decentralized entities, deploying and rebalancing capital. Examples of how protocols may use the allocator include mutual stakeholding, providing guarantees on auction price floors, expanding liquid atom market, entering AMM pools with liquid atom to atom-based assets. Okay. Rebalancing reserves and tuning the monetary properties of atom with diversified collateral backing in order to make atom more desirable. Yep. Participating in other chains governance. Oh, as like a Cosmos Hub by voting as block. Oh, other block proposals are taken from tokens held in the DAO with third parties. Interesting. Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's just attracting more value to the atom token, which is important if you're trying to support your validator set. I think Near actually has this problem where it assumes that validators are going to run just because it's fun and they can make 10% a year. Um, but yeah, obviously it's not that straightforward. Um, the allocator responds to market demand. Protocols already seek alignment with Atom, the Cosmos network, and its core and core software development initiatives. The allocator gives such projects a more streamlined, formal, and quantifiable means of collaboration. So yes, people are already trying to do this. Coordination in the crypto space is very difficult and complicated, and they're trying to like streamline coordination on chain, which I think is a great idea to try and do. I'm excited to see how Cosmos V2 like unfurls in the world. Cosmos is uniquely pushing to support emerging IBC-enabled applications and building utility and increasing chain liquidity. Increasing chain liquidity is a win-win for both the hub aligned protocols and the hub itself because it strengthens the economic development of the hub aligned protocol while simultaneously increasing the utility of the chain scheduler. Greater liquidity increases the utility of the chain scheduler because it increases the market for arbitrage, making block is more valuable. So yes, as you have more MEV, which you're going to have because you have multiple chains, block is more valuable because you have there's going to be volatility with multiple chains regardless. Thereby increasing the amount of MEV capture. An MEV capture could pay for scheduler provided block space for remaining profitable. The positive feedback loop between the scheduler benefiting from increased in-chain liquidity and the allocator deploying capital to increase in-chain liquidity gives the hub asymmetric advantages relative to other liquidity providers. That is, the scheduler and allocator combine to enable the hub to benefit from providing liquidity, which reduces the hub's overall risk and enables the hub to provide more capital. Basically, the hub has like special features which make it more efficient, and so you can use other off-chain services or you can build your own on-chain services, but technically the hub should be more efficient, and therefore just the average person is going to go towards the hub and plug into the hub, which means the block space will have more MEV opportunities and be more valuable. Lastly, in addition to the network having the largest and most sophisticated validator set, Cosmos can also use capital allocation as an added incentive for chains to choose the Cosmos Hub as their interchain security provider and further integrate with Cosmos Network as it matures. So chains can connect and choose Cosmos Chubb as their interchain security provider. Okay, so interesting. See, that's interesting. Like, what happens if Near decides one day just to use, um, like the Cosmos validators for its validator set? I don't know. It seems interesting. Sorry. Okay, I gotta find something for the developer. 1 second. Sorry. Back to Discord. And Danielle. Okay. Hopefully I'll be able to find it. Ugh. I actually can't find this. Sorry, I'm almost done. Okay, gonna just try and keep this going for a bit. I think we're almost, yeah, one more page. Just there wasn't much kind of the covenant and the rebalancer is the main kind of topics here so far. In addition to these immediate steps for the Cosmos Hub, the allocator opens numerous opportunities for expansion. Okay, I'm not even going to read through all these things, but multiple allocator DAOs, liquidity as a service, under correlation financing, recoup capital, loan to borrow defaults, and capital indicator provide loans to customer chains without the borrowing product. The borrow. Okay, that sounds like scary. Liquidity saving allocation beyond the Cosmos Hub. Without the Cosmos Hub as a counterparty, and usually calculated with the Cosmos Hub, even with the Cosmos Hub as a counterparty, because the anyways. The Initiating Allocator is designed to increase the rate of Cosmos-aligned project growth and expand the cross-chain blockchain economy. Accordingly, the allocator fosters cross-chain communication while installing Atom as the primary reserve asset for the interchain. The Cosmos Network's expanding sphere of Atom-based collateral establishes a region of cooperative integration benefiting all of those who contribute to its success. In providing a generalized multi-party collaboration system, the Interchain Allocator forms the basis for a more collaborative interchain economy, empowering creative endeavors that leverage the primitive to engender trust and affect the next phase of interchain growth. I'll write out like the next step. Kind of tired. I definitely want to. Yeah, I'm not even going to write the little heading they put there, but I will write Cosmos governance. I'll just go for now and see what happens. The Cosmos design pattern is one of the most composable modules and standardized messaging that gives rise to emergent structure. This philosophy runs through the social infrastructure of the Cosmos as much as its technical components. The software development process is highly decentralized with no one Cosmos development team. Rather, development is accomplished via an intricate network of open source projects and contributors. I'd love to learn more about that. However, to achieve the ambitions of the next phase of interchain cooperation, Cosmos will require a shared organizational language and a substrate for decentralized planning, resourcing, and accountability. Okay. Reasonable. These seem like, yeah, like this person's personal kind of blogs and the way things should go. I'll read those, but not. Actually, you know what? It seems like the most important parts of the governance is what one of the main developers has to say about governance in their blogs. It would be like reading Vitalik's blog to understand at least what his ideas are in governance, and then seeing like what actually happens in real life. Doesn't mean one person can affect the entire ecosystem, but it does, have a lot of weight and influence. Okay, the Cosmos governance stack. So it seems like they have like some tech stack here that's going to help with governance. Okay, the Cosmos governance stack. Okay. The Cosmos SDK has a history of pioneering governance innovations, such as an advanced delegation system, governance-activated node upgrades, and generalized messaging passing system that allows any account, whether individual, group, smart contract, or chain, to execute arbitrary transactions locally over IBC. Pretty cool. However, the Cosmos Hub's ambitions, technical roadmap, and commitment to building an autonomous, self-sustaining political economy requires pushing these technologies even further, extending governance capabilities to suit Cosmos' needs. The lack of commas here is frightening. And creating more robust social layers that tie together a constellation of participating entities, course teams, funding, or what? Okay, there's no way this is one sentence. Lord help me. That's a crazy sentence. I love it though. That's wild. Whoever's writing these sentences is so anyways, these are great. Without advanced knowledge of the precise social architecture that will emerge in this next phase of Cosmos development, the Cosmos Hub should furnish a generalized system that may be used by any hub-aligned DAO to flexibly deploy governance structure that meets their needs. The governance stack would provide a general specification for DAOs to self-describe their organizational structure with relationships to one another. The Cosmos governance stack gives entities a shared vocabulary for expressing governance forms with adaptive on-chain and off-chain layers. The module organizational infrastructure could be adopted to meet a particular group's need while offering transparency into their operations, facilitating accountability and alignment. The following examples illustrate what such a system might look like for 3 different entities. Okay, sorry. This doesn't matter too much to me. It's obviously just talking about what DAOs could look like and how they can get paid. DAOs, yeah, whatever. Most of the recording technology is available today. Yep, other than representation existing. The parameters above are put forward for community consideration with the intention of arriving at a standard for establishing cloud-based DAOs that can officially coordinate and govern shared resources. The Cosmos Assembly, with a more articulated way to establish new entities, a wide range of organizational structures can establish themselves on the Cosmos Hub. Core teams can establish presence. The Cosmos resources. Okay, this is like, sorry, I'm getting like bored with like they're like making up words. Sorry, not making up words, but like sorry. Okay. Let's just read here. The Cosmos Assembly. I should read that. Oh yeah, I didn't even write anything down for Cosmos governance. It didn't seem that interesting. It just seems like this maybe is like the only useful piece here, in my opinion. Like it's almost like Astro DAO. There's going to be some way for DAOs to understand how to create themselves and integrate with each other. I mean, I don't really, yeah, sorry. The Cosmos Assembly seems just like a, a council that's going to be voting on things. So the Cosmos Assembly, a proposed organizational body, could represent the strategic interests of the Cosmos Hub community. The Cosmos Hub Assembly, together with a set of domain specific councils, form a governance supply chain that enables a variety of entities to work within a common framework. This is like working groups. It's like the assembly along with like, maybe there's a whole paper on this. Okay, so apparently Hasu wrote a paper on like MakerDAO governance, and they're just trying to use that in general. And there's some like generic idea where like the Cosmos Hub Assembly could represent the Cosmos Hub community, the Cosmos Assembly together with, okay, yeah, this seems very vague so far, but again, this is kind of like, yeah, very similar to the NDC at this point, in my opinion. Just like, except for they have devs working on this stuff. Anyways, but like the papers that they've attached seem pretty interesting. So, okay, yeah, I mean, their proposed structure, DAOs may apply to become a council if they wish. The Cosmos Hub, treasury research can be accountable. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, like it's not that big of a deal. Today, the Cosmos Stack and the Cosmos Hub are built by a variety of organizations that contribute to product-specific working groups. Yep. Most recently, the Consensus Council was created to formalize one such multi-stakeholder relationship. Likewise, temporary initiatives such as Proposal 72 to onboard consumer chains, security are typically mediated by multi-signature communities. The councils and assembly system are intended to make existing formal and off-chain workflows more explicit, accountable, and open to wider participation. That's good. Improvements to the Cosmos Hub Forum over the past year, as well as new improvements to the Cosmos Forum over the past year, as well as new on-chain functions that also improve the Cosmos community's capacity to overhead. Ha. This is important. What's this under? The Cosmos Assembly still. actually think this is interesting. Like, reading through this makes me a bit depressed to be working on the NCD stuff for Nier. Mainly because this seems like light years ahead of where Nier is currently. And I almost feel like I'm wasting my time working on a project that isn't at least to this level. Like, this seems so much more professional and, like, community gathered than what we're doing. I mean, yeah, anyways. Okay. Atom holders have the responsibility of defining and updating the Cosmos Hub charter, which includes directives at the highest level. The person of the Cosmos Hub, its essential governance secretary, will entities in the council, however, without holding the discussion of passage policies. So again, all value here being passed to Atom holders. For the NDC, we don't even know what token we're going to be using or how voting is going to happen or any of that. It's pretty messed up, to be honest. For a DAO to become a council, it must first put a proposal to discussion, which all makes perfect sense. I'm not sorry, it took a lot of repetition here. The Council Assembly is comprised of delegates from each of the representative councils. The number of seats for any given council represent the weight of that council in the Council Assembly. Over a yearly basis, the Council Assembly will set priorities for. Yeah, okay. So people from the Assembly. Public accountability is perhaps the most significant challenge to the centralized governance. The introduction of new community council can aid in this. See, yep, community council. The Council's community council represents the interests of the Atom community within the Council Assembly on a day-to-day basis. The role includes the work of the core teams, providing feedback and core decisions, providing a vision of the broader community. These, okay, this is actually super important to me. As you know, we try and build out the community side of. Honestly, I want to just take this, do a quote, and like this whole thing is important to me. Out of like the whole paper, I think that this has been my favorite section. Yeah. This seems like an interesting paper. I'll read it. Like, I don't know if it's good or whatever. This is where they're getting their information from. So, why are you doing this to me? Fix my link. Anyways. The Council Governance Act in supplementary format, the Council permit higher order organization required for the next phase of council development. The council governance in some ways the most mature. It's because when you develop something, I like this. They're saying, hey, our governance is the most mature in many ways, but we need to keep improving to meet the needs of our growing economy, and growing political economy, which I like. The first step in this process should be a community dialogue on the forum about the Cosmos Hub Charter. Yes. Initial rules of engagement. Yes. Some issues will need to be close attention to include balance of power. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. The first steps is this. This is, sorry. They're doing a really good job, in my opinion. Like, we're trying to work on these documents now for Nier. And I feel like we just copy much of what's at Cosmos and change it to Nier. Because Nier, anyways, not going to go there. Some of the issues that will need to be close attention include balance of power, term limits. Yes! These are important things that we have not even started discussing at Nier. And we haven't even talked about them needing to be discussed, which is an issue. Balance, multiple documents. Okay. And then we have the conclusion. I don't think I'll be typing out much from this. I'll go to the bathroom too. Good time to be at the conclusion. The Cosmos Hub gave rise to the of blockchain security, liquid staking of the final building blocks required for secure chain commodity, which in turn capable of creation of the hub's application-specific functionality. Okay, I'm just going to honestly copy and paste this because I feel like it says it's the final lesson. And I like how with Cosmos, they're saying that their final lesson includes things to do with governance and politics and, MEV, whereas at Nier, if you look at them, their final piece is just technical. It's just, okay, we're going to have dynamic resharding and that's it. And it's like, okay, that helps you on the tech side, but any chain can add dynamic resharding as Ethereum could add a shard that does dynamic resharding. Like, it doesn't really matter. The tech is amazing. The tech is cool, but the real value comes from how do you actually govern this tech for the next 50 years, 100 years. I mean, arguably, we want this to be around for decades and decades to come. So together, the allocator schedule will create a flywheel. Okay, I don't like that word that much, but the allocator capitalizes new cosmos. I think it's just difficult to create an actual flywheel that works. The allocator capitalizes new cosmos chains and incentives. Incentivizes them to transact well. The scheduler creates a market for high-value IBC transactions and uses revenue to support network growth. With the creation of this powerful economic block, the Cosmos Hub's success becomes coupled to the success of other Cosmos chains and that of the wider IBC community, which I do like. You know, as all chains do well, the hub will do well, and if the hub's doing well and some chains are doing poorly, those chains can really rely on the hub. And if the hub's doing poorly, well, then everything does poorly because you're relying on the hub, which again is my only kind of issue with this whole system. Okay, infrastructure and community come together to drive the expansion of the interchain with credible neutrality functionality. I think this is the coolest part too. The tech and the community kind of come together in these set of systems, where the community honestly is coming together with their Atom tokens, and the tech has to kind of be trust minimized in a way that the community trusts putting their tokens into the system. Today, the Cosmos Stack is a leading framework for building sovereign interoperable blockchains. With the introduction of the scheduler and the allocator systems, the Cosmos Hub will become the leading platform for scaling IBC-enabled applications, securing financial infrastructure for the interchain, and accelerating economic coordination with the next chapter of interchain growth. Very cool. I actually really like all of this so far. Like, it just seems really cool. Like, yeah. I'm not going to read the disclaimer, and sounds good. The political union of sovereign triple blockchain. I'm gonna write this down because I think it's funny. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna copy that. Okay, so that's the Cosmos V2 paper. Done with that now. I think I was gonna tweet about it. I might just have logged into Twitter on this browser. Someone was like, oh, when you finish the paper, you know, tell me how it is. So I'll do that. Sorry. Okie dokie. That wasn't what I was looking for. Someone, where were you? Was like, oh, when you finish. Enjoyed the read quite a bit. I'm just going to leave it at that. What do we even call it? It was like the near digit. Actually, I should just say like I think it was written here. Digit. See, it's not even coming up. I think someone already made it. Digital Collective, NDC. I mean, this is the point. I can't even find it, right? Anyways, I'm going to end the stream there.